What's going on, guys? This is Tramel from Progressive Action, and I'm here to fill you guys in on the major lawsuit we have right now against the MTA. Now, I know you guys been seeing me post in various groups about this lawsuit. I've seen a lot of speculation, and I'm here to end all the speculation right now. So this major lawsuit that I'm talking about is about wage theft. And it affects the train operator and the conductor in RTO, that's the subways. And to basically give you guys a little bit of what it's about. Basically, when we come into a terminal, dispatchers will clock the train, and we will get paid up until the train is clocked in. But after that train is clocked in, we still have duties to perform. So just to give you guys a little example. Train coming to the station. Let's just say that the dispatcher clocks the train in after the train dump. Don't we still have work to do after the train dump? Don't those train doors have to open? Don't they have to close? Don't we have to lock cab doors? We may encounter passengers that have questions on the platform, whatever the case may be. But for a fact, after the train is clocked in by the dispatcher, that's the time that's on our payroll. That's the time that we get paid up until. And then you still have some dispatchers that will clock the train in whenever they want at the station before, when the first car get into the station. They use their own ideologies here and their own way of doing things, and there's no uniform way of doing things. And, you know, it's a lot of money that we are being deprived of. They are robbing us, basically. It's theft. That's why we filed the wage theft lawsuit. Now, just to get into a few parts of the lawsuit. Now, as I'm talking, I will have the picture of where I'm reading from on the page so you guys can see yourself. I will also post the documents on progressiveaction.info. I will also post the documents in the community tab of this YouTube channel. Give me 1 second. So let's get into the introduction. A collective action lawsuit has been filed against the Metropolitan Transit Authority and the New York City Transit Authority for the alleged failure to pay overtime compensation as required by law. The MTA and New York City Transit Authority deny the allegations. This is regular protocol. The MTA actually don't admit to doing anything wrong. No matter how guilty they are, no matter if they know it's wrong, they never admit to any wrongdoing. And the reason they don't admit to it is because they got lawyers on top of lawyers on top of lawyers on top of lawyers, ready to do whatever in court and waste taxpayer money instead of them just coming to the table and doing the right thing. So, of course, they're going to deny the allegations because they have a room full of lawyers waiting for work. Now, description of the lawsuit. On January 25th, 2019, John Finnegan, he's the named plaintiff. Let me get into Mr. Finnegan real quick. He's the lead plaintiff, and he works on the 7 line. And he actually started the lawsuit regarding this. It just happened that me and Ben was actually doing the same thing. Ben crossed paths with him, and then now we're about to make this thing bigger than ever. But let me get back to the description of the lawsuit. On January 25th, 2019, John Finnegan sued the MTA and New York City Transit for allegedly failing to pay overtime compensation under the Fair Labor Standards Act. The case was filed in federal court in Eastern District of New York. Among other allegations, the named plaintiff alleges that the MTA and New York City Transit allowed their subway train operators in New York City to perform work off the clock each week without paying the overtime compensation as required by law. The named plaintiff is seeking compensation for all the overtime that he worked, plus interest, statutory penalties, unreasonable attorney fees, and litigation costs for himself and for you, us, if you decide to join this lawsuit. Now, don't get worried. I know y'all saying, well, he's talking about train operators only, the number 7 line only. Don't pay that no attention. This is where the lawsuit is starting at. I am also a lead plaintiff on this case for conductors, and you guys know that I didn't pick a job for a very long time. I was extra list. My last job was on a queue. So we're going to cover all bases. And really, if John Finnegan win for the 7 train operators, the MTA will have to comply for the whole system. So don't get too caught up on the territories, but this is just where it's starting at. Who can join this case? If you are employed by the MTA and or New York City Transit at any time from October 9th, 2016 to the present as a subway train operator on the number 7 subway train, you are eligible to join this lawsuit. Like I said, we starting there on the 7 line. So if you work for the 7 line currently, please get involved with this lawsuit. Let's go to the next part. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Oh, your right to participate in this lawsuit. If you fit the definition above and agree to the representation of the named plaintiff counsel, you may join this suit by sending the consent form, collective action form to Arden Claims Service at the following address, fax number, or email address. That's Finnegan versus Metropolitan Transit Authority et al. Settlement Claims Administrator. P.O. Box 1015, Port Washington, New York, 11050. The fax number is 516-888-3501. And the email is info@ardenclaims.com. Coincidentally, Port Washington is the same town that Pat Foy is from. The effect of joining this lawsuit. If you choose to join in the suit, you will be bound by any ruling, settlement, or judgment, whether it is favorable or unfavorable. The attorneys for the named plaintiff and any prospective collective action members are being paid on a contingency fee basis, which means that if there is no recovery, there will be no attorney's fee. If there is a recovery, the attorneys for the prospective collective action members will receive a part of any settlement obtained or money judgment entered in favor of all members of the prospective class. Now, basically, another thing, this is a class, we putting together a class action lawsuit. It's pro bono, which means that we are not being charged for this. So this is major. If you ever tried to sue the MTA before, you know that it's hard to get a actual law firm to sue, but it's even more hard to get a pro bono lawsuit, which means that it's free of charge. Like I said, I'm not gonna read everything. I'm gonna have the documents up in the community tab on YouTube. I'm gonna have it on progressiveaction.info, but I do want to touch on this right here because a lot of people is going to be worried about this. No retaliation permitted. Federal law prohibits your employer from retaliating against you in any discriminating manner because you joined this lawsuit. Now, we all know how the MTA is. The MTA is very retaliatory. If you try to fight against them in any manner, they will make every attempt possible to fire you. That's just the employer that we work for. Let me see what else I want to touch on. Let me see. Consent to join collective action form. This is very important. By signing below, I hereby consent to be a party plaintiff in the case of Finnegan versus the MTA et al., whatever the case is. The picture that's on the screen right now, the form that's on the screen right now, this is the form that you have to fill out to join this lawsuit. You have to fill out this form to join this lawsuit. The more people to join this lawsuit, the better. Now, for right now, like I said, this is only for train operators on the 7 line. If you are a train operator on the 7 line, or if you know a train operator on the 7 line, I advise you guys to get involved with this lawsuit. The more people, the better. And like I said, we already know who we work for. The MTA is an agency that goes out of their way to do the wrong thing. And this wage theft thing is not the only thing that they go out of their way to do the wrong thing for. You got wage theft. You have reasonable accommodation for pregnant women. You have discipline. You have lunch issues. This agency go out of their way to do the wrong thing more times than not. More times than not. If you're an employee here, you know. It's sad that we have to put there will be no retaliation, because that's one of the things that the company go out of their way to do. Retaliate against you if you fight against them in any form or fashion. But there will be absolutely no retaliation during this lawsuit. Now, I know a lot of people is thinking, well, why didn't the union file this lawsuit? Well, the union leadership for the past decade have been asleep at the wheel. They don't know what's going on. We see it within our contracts. We see it how we get disciplined. We see it in every aspect of how we do business, or how they do business regarding the members. Even the union lawyers. Nobody brought this to the union lawyers' attention. We pay over $1 million in legal fees, and no union lawyer has filed a lawsuit regarding this. That should be alarming. We are in a time right now where the actual members are leading the charge in the fights against the MTA instead of our elected union leadership. And one thing I could say, as far as progressive action is concerned, we are up for the task. We have been leading the way the past 5 years since we have been active. And we will continue to lead the charge regarding issues, regarding, things that no one is thinking about that we are owed. Could you imagine the amount of money the MTA owe every conductor and train operator regarding wage theft? Can we imagine what's really owed to us? The thousands of dollars, potential thousands of dollars that's owed. And we want what's rightfully ours. And progressive action will make sure that we get what's rightfully ours. Once again, please spread the word. Please subscribe to the YouTube page. And it's very important that you subscribe to the YouTube page, because everything is not going to be on Facebook like we were doing before. YouTube, we want to start utilizing YouTube. We're going to start putting a lot of the pertinent, informative stuff on YouTube, because everybody don't have Facebook, but everybody can open up a YouTube link. So it's very important. So even when you subscribe to our YouTube page, make sure you hit the notification bell so you can know even when we're going live or there's a new video or whatever the case may be. You don't want to miss out on this information, and you don't want to be the last of this information. You want to be the first to get it and the first to share it out, and start having conversations with your coworkers regarding some of these topics. Also, it's very important that you donate to the platform. We have Cash App. You could donate via Cash App. You also can donate via PayPal. And we have something called Patreon. Patreon is in the link of the YouTube video. You could click on that and become a member that way to support the platform. And it's all needed. Remember who's fighting the fight for you. And it just boggles my mind that the union been asleep at the wheel regarding various issues regarding the membership. But like the saying goes, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. The new Local 100. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.